The Stars and Stripes show is brought to you by the U.S. Embassy.
Well, it's Gabs FM, powered to engage your world. And of course, welcome to the Stars and Stripes show, proudly brought to you by the U.S. Embassy in partnership with Gabs FM. Every Friday between the hours that is 11 a.m. and 12 noon, you'll definitely hear the voice of the prolific Pantsola, where we discuss the bilateral relationship between the U.S. government and the BW government. And today we're talking shared health. Now, listen up. The government of Botswana and the U.S. President's emergency plan for AIDS relief celebrate milestone in Botswana's HIV programming response at the 24th AIDS conference. The government of Botswana and the U.S. President emergency plan for AIDS relief, otherwise known as PEPFAR, marked the end of the 24th International AIDS Conference in Montreal, Canada, by shining the monumental results of the Botswana AIDS Impact Survey, the first population-based survey to confirm achievement of the UN AIDS 95 treatment goal in sub-Saharan Africa. Yes, you must celebrate yourself as a Botswana. The results confirm that among adults in Botswana living with HIV and AIDS, 95% were aware of their status. 98% of those aware of their statuses were on antiretroviral therapy, otherwise known as ART, and 98% of those on ART achieved viral load suppression. This is 98 achievement, means the country is well positioned to end the HIV and AIDS as a public health threat by the year that is 2030. And of course, that's a huge milestone achievement. And in the building, I am speaking to Ray Emmanuel Mafoko, PEPFAR Dreams Coordinator. Welcome to the show, Ray Mafoko. How are you?
Good morning, Chef, and thank you for having us here.
Yeah, I think it's your third time on the show, huh?
Yes, yeah. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, welcome back. And of course, we're not alone. We're also speaking to, give me a second to get my bearings right. Wait. Evelyn Retsang from NHAPA, right?
Napa.
Yes, Napa.
Yes, Napa.
Oh, just define what Napa is. Don't worry, it's not on my notes. How wanna get a Napa? Napa king jang. Just for the listener that does not know.
Thank you. NAPA stands for National AIDS and Health Promotion Agency. Mm-hmm. But previously, it was known as NACA.
Yes.
National AIDS Coordinating Agency.
Okay, I know NACA. Yes. Now, thank you for that clarity. So you are speaking as the voice of the BW government.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, kings and queens, welcome to the show. Great achievement. Congratulations to the both of you. I know what you're doing in line with fighting this epidemic called HIV and AIDS. Well done. I think it's important to say thank you. Let me start with Remafoko. Remafoko, of course, you know, we started with World AIDS Day, which was on the 1st of December. What is the significance of World AIDS Day? What does it mean? Why should Botswana care about World AIDS Day?
Yeah, thank you, Chef. Yes, the U.S. government's theme for the World AIDS Day 2022 is putting ourselves to the test.
Yes.
And achieving equity to end HIV is in line with the UNA's theme of addressing inequalities to end HIV.
Nice.
Which calls for action to emphasize the importance of ending HIV/AIDS as a public health threat worldwide and in Botswana by addressing inequalities in communities that have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic.
Okay.
And to ensure that people who are living with HIV are taken care of. And this year, as you know, Botswana commemorated World AIDS Day 2022 in Hukunzi yesterday, where the president officiated. And the U.S. government, through papers, has always continued to support Botswana to commemorate this World AIDS Day.
Well, fantastic, and it's an important thing why the globe celebrates this. I mean, the achievement of Botswana, you can attest to it. I must congratulate the BW government for spreading the message around HIV and AIDS. As in my little youngsters, teenager sort of, but I must say the messaging around HIV and AIDS, Botswana government and the BW and the US government have done a phenomenal job. Talk to me about your memories back then. What is the most memory that you have around the HIV epidemic from Bogologolo?
Yes, when you are taken aback since HIV came to Botswana in the 80s, and
Yes.
we saw a number of higher number of deaths as a result of HIV in the early 90s towards late 2000.
Yes.
And then the advent of antiretroviral came after the president addressed the United Nations General Assembly. I
Nice.
think it was around the early 2000s.
Which
and
president was that?
That was President Festus Mogae.
Okay.
And that's when we saw that the international community responded to assist Botswana in the HIV response, and we started by having the support from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who supported us with the treatment program that was called MASA.
Wow.
And later on, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation also formed partnership with Botswana.
Wow.
And then that was the result of HAP. And then initially we started with 2 clinics that was providing
You're joking.
ARV. It was
Only
only
2?
Gaborone and Francistown.
Wow.
And then because we are in the midst of a situation whereby many people were dying, there was really a call, a leadership call, and for us to expand treatment centers across the country. So the journey of Botswana with the support of US government have been very phenomenal, because Botswana was regarded as the highest number of the highest country with HIV rates. But as we are speaking right now, we are really celebrating the achievements that we have actually realized between the Botswana and the US government.
Wow.
And PEPFAR came around early 2000. I think it was around 2002, 2003. And since then, we are almost 2 decades of partnership. And so far, we have invested $1 billion through the PEPFAR program, assisting Botswana in various program component, prevention, care and treatment, and we also do health system strengthening, because for the country to be able to respond to epidemics and pandemics, we have to have a well-functioning health system.
Yes, absolutely.
So PEPFAR is not only focusing on providing care and treatment and prevention, but is also focusing on health system strengthening. There are different components of health system strengthening. We have the human resource, we have the financing for health, we have logistics and commodities, and then we have infrastructure in terms of strategic information infrastructure, IT, and we also build capacity for the health system to be resilient.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Let me bring in Evelyn into the conversation as the voice of the Botswana government representing NEPA. Evelyn, talk to me. Botswana's achievements in HIV response. What has Gormente Botswana done to be a part and parcel of this milestone achievement?
Yes, the Botswana government has done really a lot.
Emma.
Yes, as much as we have partners in this, but the government has been at the forefront.
Wow.
Even financing of HIV response in general, from education to treatment to testing and others, it is the majority, the bulk of the funds are coming from the Botswana government.
Wow.
That is us, Botswana, because it is us.
Yes. So we can take that 95, 98, 98 and say congratulations to Wena Botswana. You've done very well. Your taxpayers' money. You celebrate. What an example of what I call shared health. Look, Evelyn, talk to us. Which programs are the most effective in the fight against HIV and AIDS?
Okay. The most effective programs would be social behavior change.
Okay.
Would be for us to change our behaviors. That is cheaper. As much as treatment and all these other biomedical programs are really working for us at the moment, but that is not sustainable in the long term.
So basically, prevention.
Yes, basically prevention. Let's change our behaviors. Let's make sure that we always protect. Let's make sure that we avoid multiple concurrent partnerships. Yes. If we are living with HIV, let us disclose to those we are intimate with.
Absolutely. Kings and queens, please, you have to. It's of vital importance that you know your HIV status. It's absolutely. Now, personally, I tested 6 months ago, so I'm not asking you to test, and I have not tested. I'm telling you, it is vital for your future. Let me ask you this, Evelyn. The youth are among the most at-risk age group. What are we doing to target them to benefit these programs? What are we trying to do to target the leadership of tomorrow?
Okay. Currently, we have a program. It is called Adolescent and Youth Program. In short, it's usually called AYP program. It targets those that are aged 10 to 24 years.
Wow.
The main thing there we are running is to ensure that we raise awareness around prevention.
Absolutely.
The critical thing is prevention, but also to even address issues of stigma and discrimination. As you know, we have kids who unfortunately have been born with HIV.
Yes.
And they are, interacting with other kids.
Absolutely.
Yes, and therefore issues of stigma and discrimination, which ties up to this year's theme of equalizing. It's really, really important that those things are done to the youth, more especially the ones that are in school. We have the in-school program. It is done through the guidance and counseling departments in schools.
Wow.
Yes. We are currently rolling it out.
Emma?
Yes, we also have the out of school. As you know, we also have the out of school youth.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, so those we target them through activities such as teen clubs, soccer tournaments, the car washes.
Yes.
Those places that we know we can find our youth at.
Wow, congratulations. Yes. We have to clap hands for the BW government and, of course, the U.S. government. If you've just joined us, welcome to the show. You're on the Stars and Stripes radio show, celebrating, obviously, our milestone achievement as a country, 95, 98, 98. Did I get it correct, Evelyn?
Yes.
95, 98, 98. And, of course, Remafuko, let me bring you back into it. What are some of the strategies that PEPFAR is, working on to actually, the last kicks of a dying horse, for lack of a better word? What are you doing to reach total control of the HIV epidemic, Botswana? Yes, we must celebrate this historic win, but moving forward, we must finish the fight. We must fight the good fight. Talk to me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shift. Yes, of course, we've had tremendous achievement around reaching the UNH targets. One of the strategies or the programs that we are supporting Botswana on, which we want to close the existing gaps. We will continue supporting HIV prevention education. We will also continue to support programs like PMTCT. We also support the program for cancer, cervical cancer, and PrEP. PrEP is basically a program that is a kind of antiretroviral drugs that are given to people who are HIV negative. So we want to scale up the PrEP program. It's called pre-exposure prophylaxis. That is the prevention of HIV infection.
Yes.
To those who are eligible and those who are HIV negative.
Okay.
Because now what we want to do is that we want to close the gaps, and closing the gaps is actually preventing new infections. And the other program that we also want to scale up is voluntary male circumcision, also known as safe male circumcision. We want to men, starting from the age of 15 up to the elderly age, to circumcise, because circumcision has proved to be effective against prevention of HIV infection.
Yes, but it's not an excuse not to, use certain contraceptives.
But even if you are circumcised, you will still encourage people to also use other protective measures like condoms.
Yes, very important.
The other program that I thought Evelyn will talk about it is the DREAMS that we are supporting government of Botswana to implement. It is targeting adolescent girls and young women aged 10 to 24.
So tell us about how impactful is the DREAMS program in line with the HIV response? Is it impactful? Should Botswana understand that this investment by the US government in partnership with the BW government is producing the results in terms of fighting HIV and AIDS?
Yes, that's a good question. If we can take the findings from BIAS 5, the national survey that we conducted with NAPA, you'll realize that we still have a high level of HIV infection rates among adolescent girls and young women. And DREAMS is a program that is actually earmarked to close that gap, ensure that young women, adolescent girls are empowered enough to prevent infections among them, to empower them both socially and economically. Statistics also indicate that infection rates are much higher among adolescent girls and young women than boys. So that is why they are priority target group for us.
Oh, young
and it's
women.
even indicated in the National Strategic Framework 3 that these are a priority population that need to be targeted with interventions for us to close the gap to end HIV/AIDS by 2030.
Well, it's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. If you've just joined us, welcome to the show. You're on the Stars and Stripes show, and I'm speaking to PEPFAR DREAMS coordinator, Re Emmanuel Mafoko. And of course, I am also speaking to Evelyn Retsang, who's representing NAPA in Botswana. And of course, Evelyn Retsang, who's representing NAPA. Evelyn, let me ask you this question, right? The districts around Botswana, which ones are hard hit? Now we're walking into what we call festive season. Unfortunately, festive season, consumer behavior and behavioral behavior in general can be sort of relaxed, I don't want to call it relaxed, but festive season, a lot of people start indulging in, we drink a lot, we party a lot. What would you say to those hard-hit areas by HIV, and what are we doing to address them? Also echoing the importance of personal responsibility. HIV and AIDS is not Botswana government's problem. It's not the US government's problem. It's our problem as Botswana. Talk to me.
Yes. Currently, using the BIAS 5 preliminary results, it has shown that Mahalape is the one with the highest HIV prevalence. Wow. That is amongst the population aged 15 to 64 years, at 33.3%. That's Mahalape. Followed by Central Tutume at 31.1% and Central Bubonong at 30.5%. As you can see, this is a shift from how we have known prevalence around our districts, these patterns in our districts. As you know, for the longest time, it has been Pikwe, and Pikwe is a township.
Yes.
So most of the time, our prevalence was centered around urban areas. But now, this time around, we see that it is moving towards semi-urban, Mahalape, Central Tutume. Maybe migration is also an issue here. And I believe our census will also show us how migration has been to these areas.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Continue.
But we have what we call a national strategic framework. And right now we are on the third one, as Mafoko has already alluded to. And in that strategic framework, in which NAPA as a coordinator is responsible for ensuring its monitoring of, we have what we call in the priority districts. That every time we do these national surveys and we have those districts with high HIV prevalence as well as high new infections, those districts will be treated differently from the rest of the country. Previously it was Kweneng East. It was around mostly the districts around the southern part of the country. But after 2021, it has shown that the shift has gone towards the northern part of the country. And we ensure we are going to ensure that we address these districts by putting more resources in those districts to ensure that if people are positive there, they are linked to care, as we've seen that care can also be used as a form of prevention in the long run. But we're also going to intensify education as well as condom programming.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, the cheaper way is behavior change.
Well, it's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. You're on the Stars and Stripes show, proudly brought to you by the U.S. Mission in partnership with Gabs FM. The cheaper way is prevention. And of course, we know that we have a drug epidemic that is also ravishing Banabarona and causing irresponsible behavior and decisions. Those are things that PEPFAR dreams, and of course, the BW government is coming together to ensure better behavior by young people. Please, I'd also like to encourage you to go out and know your HIV status. It's of vital importance to understand that this fight against this epidemic is not the BW government's problem. It's not the US government's problem, but it's our fight to contain.
The Stars and Stripes show is brought to you by the U.S. Embassy.
It's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. Good morning to you and welcome to the Stars and Stripes show, proudly brought to you by the U.S. Embassy in partnership with Gabs FM, the BW government, the U.S. government, and of course you and I, the biggest stakeholders of Botswana PTY Ltd. We're going to move along swiftly to the next segment called Ask the Charge or Ask the Acting Ambassador segment. This is where we get to ask Her Excellency Amanda Jacobson all the burning questions that you might have for the U.S. Embassy, and this is what you had to say. Why should we care about global food security? Which is a brilliant question, and this is what she had to say.
Global food security affects all of us. Shortages of food and fertilizer in many countries and spikes in food prices threaten to destabilize societies, increase hunger and malnutrition, and drive migration. Conflict has greatly exacerbated food security issues globally. An uneven global economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, widespread supply chain disruptions, and extreme weather events have left millions of people acutely food insecure and in need of urgent assistance. On World Food Day, which was October 16th, food systems and global food security are at a critical moment. The impacts from a global pandemic, growing pressures from the climate crisis, high energy and fertilizer prices, and armed conflicts, including Russia's brutal war of aggression against Ukraine, have disrupted production and supply chains and dramatically increased global food insecurity. The human impact is staggering. At the outset of 2022, more than 190 million people had been driven into acute food insecurity. The war in Ukraine could add an additional 70 million people on top of that. The United States is leading the way to address global food security. Last month at the UN General Assembly, President Biden announced over $2.9 billion in new assistance to address global food insecurity. This assistance will save lives through emergency interventions and invest in medium to long-term food security assistance to protect the world's most vulnerable population from the escalating global food security crisis.
Well, it's Gabs FM, power to engage your world, and thank you and congratulations to the BW government and the US government. Global food security is an important component of our everyday life and, of course, the destiny of Botswana. Kings and queens, moving swiftly along, we're going to continue a conversation, but we're going to be speaking to Education USA office, and not in the studio, but this is what you got to know. The Education US office in the public affairs section of the United States Embassy seeks to identify and recruit, different Botswana to do different courses. Please go online and understand what Education USA presents. The Education USA guides talented and determined students through the admissions process for colleges and universities in the United States. As rightfully said, the United States is home to over 3,000 universities. Selected students can attend regular seminars, and the embassy commits to assisting them throughout their application process. This is an important. Do you have a strong desire to study in the United States? A strong and competitive academic record, evidence of leadership, evidence of service to the community. Remember, character development is an important component and can bag you a scholarship to go and study in the United States. An outstanding character in and outside of school. This is an important component of your application process. If you're looking for more information, let me tell you, you can engage the USA office from the public affairs section of the U.S. Embassy in Botswana. You can apply, you can request an in-person meeting, and let me tell you, Education USA office can come to you, whether you're in the private sector, whether you're a primary school, secondary school, or a tertiary institution. All you have to do is engage the U.S. Embassy, and they can facilitate in terms of bringing information right to your doorstep, to your workplace, wherever you need it. Trust me, I have benefited from some of these programs. I have been to the United States. I went to 5 states in the United States in line with NGO management and leadership. These are courses that you want to do. Kings and Queens, 11:38 is your time. Don't go away. We're going to continue the show shortly after this. Good morning. It's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. Brown sugar, mutokabato. And of course, what a way to introduce the last segment of the show. Talking shared health, shared responsibility. Kings and Queens, welcome to the Stars and Stripes radio show. Proudly brought to you by the U.S. Mission in partnership with Gabs FM. Hashtag America in Botswana. Talking all things shared health, shared prosperity. And of course, the bilateral relationship between the U.S. government and of course the BW government. And of course, today we are celebrating or speaking about striving towards HIV epidemic control. And of course, I am speaking to Ray Emmanuel Mafoko, PEPFAR Dreams Coordinator, and of course, Evelyn Retsang from Napa. We're talking, of course, how to kill the last kicks of a dying horse and officially fight HIV and consider it dead. And thank you so much for being a part of the show. Let me ask you, Remafoko, this last question. You know, how much has the United States spent towards Botswana's HIV response, and what would you say you can see? Can you actually see the value that the U.S. government is putting into the nation that is the Republic of Botswana?
Thank you so much, Swift, for your question. Yes, the government of United States have, through PEPFAR, so far have actually contributed over $1 billion US dollars since its inception in Botswana. Wow! In assistance to fight HIV and AIDS in the country. Wow! And together we celebrate our partnership through the milestones that we have already alluded. Yes. Of achieving the UNA's targets. Yes. And also, as you know, that Botswana have recently been awarded what we call the Silver Tire Award for elimination of the mother-to-child transmission of HIV through the PMTCT program. And we're in this together to celebrate these milestones. And you know that PEPFAR also assisted Botswana to carry out the Bias 5 survey. Yes. And this survey was carried during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we can really pay gratitude to Botswana for having allowed us to go into the household, ask them questions, because remember, there was limitation of movements, but they were able to respond to our call to participate in the survey. Thank you, sir. That is another celebration. Yes, sir. And the other celebration is that we are seeing an uptake in almost care and treatment programs, even prevention programs. So far, Dreams, we are at more than 15,000 adolescent girls who are enrolled in the program. 15,000? Yes. Nationwide? Yeah. Wow. Who have actually enrolled into the program. So our intention is to expand reach. Yes. To reach young people who are disenfranchised, who are staying hard to reach areas, young people with disabilities, adolescents who are out of schools. Okay. We want to make sure that we strengthen our partnership with implementing partners, and we are working closely with Minister of Health, NAPA, Minister of Local Government, and Minister of Education. As you know, Minister of Education is the custodian of our constituency. These are the institutions that have adolescent girls and young women in large numbers. And we need to make sure that we penetrate school.
Absolutely.
and other government departments, because we also have economic strengthening component of the DREAMS program.
Yes, sir.
It's not about HIV prevention.
Era.
We want to empower them with economic opportunities, for them to start their own businesses,
Yes, sir.
for them to be prepared for the world of work, to be resilient in terms of work outside school.
Absolutely.
So this is what we are doing. We want young people as much as possible to enroll in this program. It's beyond HIV prevention, it's more than that.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Well, it's Gabs FM Power to engage your world. Evelyn, let me ask you this last question. As you represent NAPA, what programs do you have for the LGBTQ community to fight HIV and AIDS?
Thank you. The LGBTQI population is one of our priority population in the National Strategic Framework.
Wow.
Yes. And mostly of their programs, they are coordinated by Bonela. Yes, and also Le Habibo.
Okay.
They ensure that they are educated on prevention. They are educated on PrEP. They are educated on issues of gender-based violence, as well as stigma and discrimination.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
we
well-
also even have a human rights plan that I think it was released last year.
Wow.
Yes, that plan also it outlines in it on how we can bring these people into the health system.
Yes.
Yes, retain
Yes.
them there
Yes.
in the system.
Yes.
And all, but at the same time, the most important thing is prevention.
Yes.
Yes.
I like the fact that you're always saying what it is prevention. Yes, cure, we have strategies more Botswana, but it is important what Botswana the best way is to prevent yourself. Your lifestyle decisions is important.
Yes.
How you carry yourself, your diet is important. And Batsadi, I think also our parents need to understand what educate the bana ba rona on sex education. I always say sexual education is better that it starts at home than a mobile device, than Facebook, than somebody else about sex and sex education. It must start it must start in the home, because that is the only way that we can now prevent a lot of these bad decisions from the home. Let me ask you this last question before we close the show. We're walking into festive season.
Yes.
What is your advice to Botswana in line as a health practitioner, as somebody who understands that HIV and AIDS can destroy the life of any Botswana? What would you like to say in closing?
Okay. I'll still, I think, reiterate what I've been talking about prevention. Let's condomize.
Yes.
And as women and the young girls out there, let's also know that we have the right to negotiate safe sex.
Wow.
Yes, I have the right to say no.
Yes.
And you as a man, you have to understand that.
Yes.
Yes, that has to happen. And also, for things like intergenerational sexual relations as well, I would also urge our elders to know that these are our kids. Yes. Do what you would want somebody to do to your child. Yes, don't go and abuse another person's child while yours is at home and safe. So also as adult men, let's also protect our children, because that's when we will close that gap. That's when we will have 0 new infections by 2030. That's what we want to strive to. We have done so much. We have gone from about 13,000 new infections to now about 2,200. Let's now work towards closing that 2,200 per annum numbers. Let's close that tab.
Well said. It's Gabs FM Power to engage your world. Rema Foko, let me offer you this platform to share your parting statements. And what would you like to say to Botswana in line with the festive season?
Thank you, Swift. Yes, for the message that we carry to Botswana is that during the festive season they should actually avoid drinking and driving, which is actually the cause of road accidents. And they also have to indulge in safe sex by using condoms. as Evelyn has already alluded. And also, and Rejus, I know that there's a lot of travel around. Unnecessary travels, they should stay home, connect with families, build healthy relationships, and celebrate in a healthier manner.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also encourage them to eat well. I know that there's a temptation that we overindulge in foods that are harmful to our bodies. And don't forget to exercise.
Yes, I like that.
If you start the year 2023 with a good physical body,
I like that.
it will give you good mental health. And I would like Botswana to celebrate in peace.
Yes.
And avoid gender-based violence by all means.
Yes.
We want the year 2023 to be a new year with new beginnings, with new happiness and new prospects for prosperity.
I like that.
Yeah. On the party note, I say that the government of United States through PEPFAR will continue to support Botswana to build a strong health system so that we can be able to sustain the achievement that we have actually arrived at.
Yes, sir.
So we need to sustain that.
Okay.
Because we cannot just celebrate and then be
complacent,
like
yes.
Yeah, we need to sustain that so that we can be able to end AIDS by 2030.
I like that.
And we'll continue to build capacities, capabilities of implementing partners of government of Botswana. Civil society will work with them to make sure that because even if at the end of after ending HIV/AIDS by 2030, we need to leave behind a strong health system that can be able to respond to any kind of epidemic.
Absolutely.
If there is COVID, if COVID can resurface again, when any other monkeypox can come, then we have an infrastructure and a health system that is resilient to handle any epidemic. And then our vision also is to strengthen partnerships and collaboration, because we realize that working together bring good results and impact.
Great.
Thank you so much, Swift.
You're welcome, sir. And of course, kings and queens, I've got giveaways to give you. All you have to do is call me on 395-6962. And let me tell you, I'm going to ask you one simple question in line with the milestone achievement that Botswana has achieved in partnership with the BW government. That's all you have to answer. What is the UN AIDS target that Botswana and the BW government and the US government has achieved? All you have to do is call me on 395-6962 and instantly you win. I got 3 giveaways, so please call in.
The Stars and Stripes show is brought to you by the U.S. Embassy.
Gabs FM, you are live. Hello.
How are you?
Complaining doesn't pay me. How are you, sir?
I'm well, good, thank you.
Fantastic. Quick one. What is the UN AIDS target?
The target is 0 HIV infection by 2030.
But unfortunately, that is not the right answer, okay? Thank you. 395-6962. All you have to tell me is the milestone achievement between the BW government and the US government. What is the UN AIDS target that was achieved by these two stakeholders, being Botswana Pty Ltd and of course the US government? 395-6962. All you have to do is answer that question and you stand a chance to win the gift pack that I have for you. And you know what? One thing that I must say, the gift pack is quite an interesting gift pack. I wouldn't mind. I believe in a zero corruption policy, but I wouldn't mind having one of these for myself. Feel free to call me on 395-6962. I'm only giving you 3 more minutes. And of course, fast approaching the end of the show. And of course, the news team is on standby. Gabs FM, good morning. How are you?
Good.
How are you?
I'm good.
I can hear you, but I can't hear you.
I'm fine.
Oh, fantastic. What is the UN AIDS target?
Reduce CTC-based violence cases.
You know what? You've given me a good answer. It's not the correct answer. So because you've given me a good answer, I will grant you. Congratulations. Just hold the line so I take your details off air, okay?
Thank you.
All right. I think whether we like it or not, an answer in line with gender-based violence is an important answer. Let me take your details off air and we continue conversation. Well, we did that. Gabs FM, good morning. How are you? Hello?
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
Can't complain. Give me the UNAIDS target and the milestone achievement between Botswana government and, of course, the US government. Gabs FM, good morning. 3956962. Ladies and gentlemen, we did discuss this milestone achievement when we started the show between the BW government and the US government, and what is the UNAIDS target that was achieved. It's a milestone achievement. We're celebrating it every day. All you have to do is answer that one question on 3956962 and you stand a chance to win instantly. Of course, please feel free and welcome to the Stars and Stripes show. You're coming to the tail end of the conversation. Feel free to follow the US Embassy social media pages on all social media platforms, and of course go to visit their website as well to get a lot more information. Gabs FM. All right, I lost that call. 3956962. I've got 1 minute. I can take one more caller if you call me on 3956962. I'm going to take my time. Gabs FM, good morning. How are you? Oh, banna. Out in the name of someone. 3956962. Gabs FM, good afternoon. How are you?
Hello.
Say, how are you? Talk to me, Mrapa.
Good. Is it Gabs FM?
Yes, it's Gabs FM.
Yeah, there was a question that you just laid down now.
Yes.
I wanted to answer it.
Yes, so please answer the question.
The target that was set is 98, 95.
Hey, Ampur. It's the other way around, but I'm going to give it to you. Congratulations. Just hold the line while I take your details, okay?
Okay.
Well, Gabs FM, power to engage your world. It's actually 95, 98, 98. It's top of the hour and we're crossing over to the news. Kings and Queens, good afternoon.
The Stars and Stripes show was brought to you by the US Embassy.